Okay guys, so what I did is I went all the way to 7.1 to review for your 7.3. So here, I'm going to be showing you, along with on the side right here of x plus 5 equals 3x minus 1. So this right here is showing that x is represented by one big block. And the ones are represented in little blocks. And a negative one is represented in a red block. So here we can see that they subtracted 1x on both sides, which ended up canceling the one right here and the one right here. And you're left with 2 x's. And what they also did is they removed this 1 and they did the opposite. So they added the 1, which cancels it, and they added the 1, which gives me a 6. So now you're left with 2x minus 6, or equals positive 6, sorry. So we're left with 6 equals 2x. And here if we remove one tile from both sides, this represents subtracting x from both sides of the equation. I am placing one positive 1 tile on both sides, which is what I did right here when I was adding this 1 on both sides of the equation. This represents adding the number 1 to both sides of the equation, removing the 0 pairs, which are going to be the x's and the 1's. And we're left with 6 equals 2x. So now separate each side into 2 equal groups. 1 x tile is equivalent to blank plus 1 tiles. I don't know exactly what this part says. Sorry, this part right here says. So I'm going to skip it. But the next solution will be dividing by 2 on both sides. And that means that 3 little boxes is 1x. And that's all it's saying. 3 equals 1x. So now we have x equals 3. And this right here is going to be your solution. And now, how can you check the solution for this? All we have to do is plug it in. If I have x as 3 plus 5 equals 3 times 3 minus 1. So 3 times 3 is 9 minus 1 is 8. And 3 plus 5 is 8. Does 8 equal 8? Yes, it does. That means you got it correct. Okay guys, I figured it out too. So this part right here, separate each side into 2 equal groups. All it's saying is because we have 2x, we have to divide it by 2 because we're splitting it in 2 groups, which is why we divide 2 on both sides. And again, this one is 2 times x. We want to get rid of the 2's, so we divide by 2. And we're left with just x. 2 divided by 2 equals 1x. And 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Good job. Okay, so now, the thing that we really need to focus on is distributing. The only thing that we really need to distribute is just this negative 9 into these parentheses. Which is, that's all you have to do. Everything else gets brought down. So you got y minus 5 equals 3. Negative 9 times y is negative 9y. Negative 9 times positive 2 is a negative because negative times positive is negative, and 9 times 2 is 18. So here we have y on the left side, but I'm going to go ahead and move it to the right side. So I'm going to subtract y, because that is a positive right here. And this is the inverse operations that they were mentioning. So because I want to get rid of this one, and it's a positive, I have to subtract. Done. And I have to do it to the same thing on the other side of the equation. And negative 9 minus y is negative 10y. Minus 18 getting dropped down, and equaling negative 5 getting dropped down. So now our new equation is negative 5 equals negative 10y minus 18. Now this is a constant on the left, and the variable is on the right. So I'm going to remove my constant by doing the opposite, by adding 18. That's going to cancel this one. And 18 minus 5 is going to be 13. Equals negative 10y. You're going to divide by 10 so you can get y all by itself. And negative 10 divided by negative 10 equals 1. And you're going to divide by negative 10. So your answer will be negative 13 over 10. Okay guys, this is going to be 7.3, page 212, sorry. And this is going to be the second equation, or the second number right here. So we got 2x minus 7 minus 10 equals 12 minus 4x. Perfect. Okay, so first thing you really want to do is distribute. You don't want any parentheses. You want to distribute that 2 into the x and that 2 into the 7. So if we do that, we're going to get 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. And we're just going to be dropping down that negative 10 as well. As well as 12 minus 4x. So now the next step is going to be combining like terms, or more like simplifying. So we have 10 and 14. Negative 14 minus 10. Or negative 14 plus negative 10. These come out to be negative 24. You're going to bring down the 2x equals 12 minus 4x. And you bring everything else down. So here, now we have x's on both sides of the equation, and I want it to be on only one side. So this one's a negative. I'm going to use it and make it a positive 4x so they can cancel out. And over here we will add the same exact thing, and it gives us 6x. Now we're just going to drop down everything else. Negative 24 equals 12. And now we want all of the constants, or the regular numbers, on the opposite side of the equation from the variable. So I'm going to get rid of 24, let it equal 0, and I'm going to add 24 over here as well, which is going to give me 36. Now I'm just going to drop down the 6x, and I'm going to split 36 into 6 groups. And you're going to you will be getting x equals 6, which is going to be your answer for for number 2. Example number 2, it's really similar to example number 1 because it is still distributing, but now the only main difference is that you're going to have to do it 2 times now. You're going to do it on the left side of the equation and also on the right side of the equation. So here, the best way to eliminate the fraction is going to be by multiplying by both sides by a number. And that number should be the least common multiple. For example, here we have 3/4 of the fraction, and they multiply by 4/1. And that is to get rid of the 4's on one side of the equation. So here, I will do it separately so you can see it done slowly. Now 3/4 x minus 13 equals -2 times 9 plus x. Here they're going to do 4/1 times 3/4. And this whole thing times 4 as well. So when we do these, we're canceling that out and we're left with 3 times x minus 13 equals 4 times 2 is -8. And the 9 plus x stays the same. The only thing that is changing is going to be that number on the outside of the parentheses. So now we have a new equation from the first one. And as you can see, 3x minus 13 equals -8, 9 plus x. Same equation as that one. This is where we use the distributive property. So we are going to be multiplying 3 times x, giving us 3x. 3 times -13, giving us -39. 8 times 9, or -8 times 9, -72. -8 times positive x, -8x. So here they're just saying that we need to distribute the 3 and the 8 to the terms within the parentheses. Now this is where we use the inverse operations once again. We want the x's on one side of the equation and the regular numbers or constants on the other. So here we're going to get rid of the 8. So we're going to add, because that's a negative, we're going to do positive 8, or adding 8. Canceling it out, bringing everything down, and doing the same thing to both sides of the equation. And now 3x plus 8x equals 11x. Now we have our variable on the left side, so I want all of our constants or regular numbers on our left side, which is why we're going to cancel the 39s. This is a -39, so I'm going to add 39 to make it 0. And I'm going to do the same thing to both sides of the equation. 72 plus, or -72 plus 39 will give you -33. All you're doing is dropping down what's left over, which would be the variable, and you're going to be splitting that into 11, because you want to have x all by itself. Now -33 divided by 11 is -3. Okay guys, so this is going to be on page 212, 7.3, number 3. So we are seeing that we have a fraction and we need to eliminate it. And the best way to eliminate it is by multiplying the entire thing by the denominator, which is going to be 3 over 1. And that will be to everything. Because 3 will cancel out. The 3's will cancel out, leaving you with b plus 16. Equals 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, and these will stay the same. So now we took an equation with 2 distributions needed to happen on both sides, multiplied it by 3 to get rid of the fraction, and it turned into a distribution on the left side only. So negative 12 times negative 5 is a positive number. 12 times 5 is going to be 60. Negative 12 minus or times negative b. Negative times negative is positive. 12 times b is 12b equals b minus plus 16. So you do minus 16 here and here. You will be getting b equals 12b plus 44. Now, I want the b's all on one side. So I have a constant here, a variable here, so I will move this variable to my right. It's an addition, and I want to make it equal 0, so I will subtract it. And this comes out to be negative 11b. And now we're going to be splitting this one into groups of negative 11 because I want b to stand all on its own. And it comes out to be negative 4. Okay guys, so what I did is I went all the way to 7.1 to review for your 7.3. Alrighty, this is going to be page 214 of your 7.3. This one is actually on your assignment. So I'm going to help you guys out with a couple of the odds and with one of these two as well. I'm going to help you out with the second one. So we'll go ahead and do number 2 and number 5 and number 9. And then we will go from there. Alright. So here we have 2/3 times 9 plus x equals negative 5 times 4 minus x. So first of all, they want us to multiply it by something. And I will do it by 3 over 1, just because I want to be able to cancel out this 3 and that one, leaving me with 2. Because 2 over 1 is just 2. And I will be multiplying it by 3 on that side as well. And 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And 2 times 9 is 18. And 2 times x is 2x. So now we see negative 15 times 4 is negative times positive is negative. 15 times 4 is 60. And this is going to be a positive number right here because negative times negative is positive. And 50 times x equals 15x. So now what we do is add this 18 on both sides, and we will be subtracting this 15 on both sides. So we're canceling 2 at a time. Canceling the 15s, canceling the 18s. Positive 2 minus 15, negative 13. 60, negative 60 plus 18 is basically 60 minus 18, and that number comes out to be negative, which is 42. Negative 13x equals negative 42. We are going to be dividing by 13x, so we can cancel that out. The same thing with the other equation, and it comes out to be x equals positive 6. Negative divided by negative is a positive. So that's going to be the very first one. Now, for the second one, I will go ahead and do it on paper here. I'll go over with number 1. We're just gonna erase this really quick. Alright. So we have negative 3x plus 4. And the x plus 4 is in parentheses. So it's 15 equals 4x. Negative 4x plus 6. I switched it around a little bit on accident. So here it's negative 4x because this is what the real number is, minus 4. So minus 4 plus 6 because of that positive 6 right there. So now we're just going to go ahead and distribute. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 4 is negative 12. And you're just going to drop down. Plus 15 equals negative 4x plus 6. These two right here, we can easily simplify them. 15 minus 12 is 3. And that is a positive 3. And we're just going to drop everything down. Alright, so now we got x's or the variable on both sides of the equation. And I would like it only on one, so I will add 3x, canceling those out, dropping down my 3 on that side. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1x plus 6. And here I want my constant on the opposite side of my equation, so I can have this one all alone, so I can have my variable alone. So if that's a positive 6 and I want to cancel it to equal 0, I will subtract 6. And what you do to one side, you do to another. And we're just dropping down. Now I don't want to know what negative x is. I want to know what x is. So I will subtract that negative number, giving me x equals 3, which is what number 3 is going to be. All right. So now I'm going to do only one more, and it will be number, let's go ahead and do number 9. And do negative 8 times 8 minus x equals 4 over 5 x plus 10. And it's like example number 2. Distribution on both sides of the equation. So here we have a fraction, and the best way to get rid of our fraction is by multiplying. I'm going to multiply this and this by 5. When I multiply by 5, or 5 over 1, for example, this cancels out. Because you're basically doing 4 over 5 times 5 over 1. And that's 20 over 5, which equals just simply 4. Which is what we are being left with. And you also multiply this side by 5. But you don't multiply the inside, you only multiply the outside number. So 5 times negative 8, negative 40, times 8 minus x equals 4 times x plus 10. Alright, so now we're going to be able to distribute. 40 times 8 is going to be negative 40 times 8 is going to be negative 320. Negative 40 times negative x is a positive 40x equals, sorry, you guys couldn't see it, equals 4 times x, 4x, 4 times 10, positive 40. So now we have the x's on both sides of the equation. And I want it on 1, so I'm going to subtract 4x, giving me 36x equals 40 plus 320, that is a negative. And now I have x's all on my left, so I'm going to move my regular number constant to my right. That is a negative 320, so I will add 320, canceling it out, making this 360. And now, as we can tell, x is going to equal 1 because we're going to divide by 36. Oh, not 1, sorry, it'll be 10. That gets canceled out, and x equals 10. So for number 9, the answer is going to be x equals 10. And for number 3, x equals 3. And there you go. Go ahead and complete the rest of the worksheet, please.